Hey guys, it's Kevin with MixCoach. Today, I want to tell you my best tips for mixing duets, trios, and quartet music. If you've ever mixed this kind of music that has 4-part harmony, 3-part harmony, or even a duet, you're gonna love this video. Before we get started though, if you need any mix tips, I have a checklist called mixcoach.com/checklist, and I will give you a checklist of all my tips, and there's even some bonus stuff in there of some power user tips, I believe, when it comes to mixing, okay? So without any further delay, I want to tell you some mix tips that I have for duets or duos, trios, and quartets. If you've ever mixed this kind of music, you'll know that it can be kind of a challenge sometimes. And so I want to tell you some of the things that I have learned that I navigate this stuff with. Sounds like there's some sirens in the background. Okay, so without any delay, first thing I want you to know is that you need to mix backwards, okay? Now what I mean by mix backwards is that when you mix music with vocals, the most important thing in the mix in this kind of music is usually the vocals. So what I want you to do is to wait and mix the vocals in last. So pretty much dial in your mix of your band. Now, this can't be done like, you can't always do this. This is just kind of a rule of thumb. You'll want to do it differently, but for the most part, I will mix pull all the faders up, get everything done. And then when you want to get ready to start dialing in the mix, mute the vocals, mix the band a little bit, and then put the vocals in, because your ear will kind of almost force you to mix the last thing loudest, okay? Which means that if you want to mix something loud, if something needs to be dominant in the mix, say it's vocals, they need to be mixed last, because your ear will naturally make you mix that thing the loudest, okay? So to further apply that to vocals, if you're mixing a duet and you've got a featured vocal and then you've got a harmony vocal, mix the harmony first and then the lead vocal last. That will make you mix that ever so slightly louder, and that's what you need to do in this kind of music. If you're mixing a trio, mix the 2 harmony parts. If you can tell the difference between the harmony and the melody. If you don't, it would be a good thing to learn, but if you know the harmony and the melody, mix the harmony parts first. Mix the baritone, the baritone and the alto or whatever, mix those second, and mix them as a duo that are equally, they're equally in the mix. So you don't have the lead vocal in, you only have the 2 harmony vocals in, okay? If you're mixing a quartet, now this is just not 4 singers singing, not 2 people singing one part, 2 people singing the other. I'm talking about 4-part harmony where you've got a melody, soprano, alto, tenor, and then you've got a bass part that's singing the same as a bass player almost. If you know this kind of music, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, listen to some groups like Ernie Haas and Signature Sound, the Kingsmen, Gold City. I could name a lot of them, but I'm not going to right now because I'll get in trouble. Here's how you mix quartet music, okay? Mix the 2 harmony parts first. So if you've got a person singing the melody and you've got a part above and a part below, mix those first. Or if you've got 2 parts below or 2 parts above, mix the harmony first. And what this will do is it will make you mix the harmony as if it's its own thing. Then when you add the vocal, the lead vocal to it, or the melody, it's going to make you mix that just a little bit hotter, but your harmony is going to be at a good balance between them, okay? Now you still need to do some tweaking to this as you go. This is not going to be 100% of the mix, but it'll get you 90% there, okay? So if you're mixing a quartet, mix the 2 harmonies first, then mix the bass singer in, okay? And this is depending on how predominant you want the bass singer. If you want the bass singer really loud, mix him third, okay? So the 2 harmony parts, the bass singer, and then mix the melody in, okay? So what's another scenario? Another scenario is when you have stacks. Now, when I produce vocals, I usually stack the harmony parts. I usually don't stack the melody, and I don't stack the bass part, but I will stack the 2 harmony parts. So here's the order for that, okay? Mix the 2 stacked harmonies first. That way you'll get a good blend of them, because what'll happen is if you just add the stacks in and there's a a loud line in the stack, or if a person jumps out of the stack a little bit, it's going to throw your balance off of your main mix when you add your main vocals to it. So I've got stacked vocals and I've got main vocals, okay? My stacked vocals I mix first, and that way I get them mixed in, because you don't just lay those in there and hope for the best. You have to mix those also, okay? So mix your stacks first, then mix the harmony parts of the stacks in there with it, okay? Make sure that they're panned out and they sound nice, and they're balanced. And then add your bass singer, and then what's gonna happen, since he's not stacked, automatically when he's not stacked, he's gonna come forward in the mix a little bit, okay? And then when you add him into that mix, your ear is going to make you mix him just ever so slightly louder, okay? So now you've got your stacks, you've got your harmony, and then you've got your bass singer in there. The only thing left to add is the lead singer. Add him in there, and you'll find yourself not wrestling with the mix quite as much as you thought you would, okay? Now, like I said, this is only 90% the way there. You're still gonna have to listen to the song and pull out little pickup lines. There may be a part going louder or softer, and you may need to ride that. You still need to do that to make it a good mix, okay? If I could offer you another couple of tips, is mix in mono and mix at a very low volume, okay? That will make you, when you start mixing in well, you've got the music, and then you start putting the vocals in there, when you add the stacks in there, they're almost they're almost not understandable, because they're gonna be a little bit low. If you mix them like the record, here's one thing I'll do, is sometimes I'll mix the stacks, like the very first part of the song, with no main vocals, only stacks or only doubled vocals. I will mix those as if it's the record, and I'll make sure that that's right. And then after I'm done with that, then I'll pull it down a couple 3 dB. And what does that do? What is mixing the stacks? What's the advantage of that? Well, the advantage of that is that when you run your stems or your tracks or whatever, you don't have these randomly your stacked vocals, or or they're more consistent level, and you're going to be happier with it when you run your tracks, because now your vocals are not all over the place. They're in a very calculated place because you've mixed them in that order, okay? So just to recap, this is the way you mix duet music, duos, trios, and quartets, okay? If you do stacks, mix the stacks first, pull them down a little bit. Then the second step you want to do is mix your harmony vocals to the stacks, because they are going to they're going to kind of blend together, and you're going to get this wider sound of the harmony parts, okay? And then you want to mix your bass vocal in if you have a bass vocal, and if you don't, then you go ahead and straight go to the lead vocal, okay? And then you'll need to do your tweaks and stuff, okay? So I hope that helps. Again, if you want more tips like this, go and check out my checklist, okay? It's mixcoach.com/checklist. If you use these tips, let me know. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos like this. I go live from time to time. I answer questions from time to time, and I put these videos up every week. So like the channel, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever these go live, okay? Hey, thanks for watching today. Again, go and do the checklist, mixcoach.com/checklist. The link is below, and I'll see you in the next video, okay?